Today we are going to see an experiment which is called ergography. In this experiment we will find out the working of a skeletal muscle and the effect of fatigue and the fatigue in a skeletal muscle and the different factors which will affect in the early or the late fatigue of the muscle. So this one is the instrument which we will be using for this ergography. So firstly, what is ergography? The ergography which we are doing is called Mosos's ergography. It is the recording of an ergogram. This one is the ergogram. So if we keep on contracting our finger or muscles, then there will be a graph. A graph will be drawn in this page. So this is known as the ergograph. It was first described by Moso, and therefore it got its name called Mosos's ergography. So it is a recording of the voluntary contractions of the skeletal muscles of a human being on a moving kymograph. Normally this one will be a kymograph. This one will move and we will just contract our middle finger. We will contract our skeletal muscles which will move the pencil or the pen which will make a graph on this kymograph. So this is known as the ergogram. So Mosos's ergography is done to assess the performance of the flexors of the fingers of the hand. So we are doing this experiment to find out the performance of the flexors of our fingers. So can anyone tell me what are the flexors? Okay, sit down. So in this experiment we will assess the performance of the flexors of our fingers. So it is also performed to study the phenomenon of fatigue in human muscles. Ultimately our goal is to find out how much work we can do. So in that we will find out that how much fatigue is being done is there when we are working out our finger muscles. This is the goal of the experiment. So what are the factors that affect performance? Then the first factor is age. Young adults can perform better than children and elderly individuals. As you can see, there is a weight suspended here. The weight is normally 3 kg. Here it is, I think, 1.5 kg. But normally the weight is 3 kg. And we will pull that weight with our finger. So obviously the people who are young, they will perform better than old people or children. They cannot lift so much. So that defines the thing that the age will be a determinant. How much we can work out. How much we can perform with our fingers. Then gender. Usually men can perform voluntary contractions better because the muscles are larger, as you know. That's why men will be more efficient in performing this experiment. Then height. In height, this is actually contradictory because it is written usually taller people perform better. So the person should be taller also and his muscle mass should also be there. If he is very lean and thin person, obviously there would not be any benefit of being a taller person. So if a person is having a significant amount of muscle mass, if he is a tall person, then obviously it will be he will perform better. Then physical build. I have already told you, persons with sound physical build can perform better than the obese or very thin. Suppose someone is very obese, someone is very thin, and someone is muscular, he is doing regular workouts. So obviously that person will perform better in this test. Then training. A physically trained individual can always perform better than untrained persons. Suppose someone regularly does this type of trainings with weights and someone who has never done any training. So obviously there will be some difference that the person who is working with weights will be able to perform better. Then the race. Race means the type of people. Then Europeans and Caucasians perform better than Asians. Can you tell me why Europeans and Caucasians are better in performing this type of exercises? Means how? Why?
Their height is...
Yeah, both their height and their muscle mass is generally better. It's not that every one of them can perform better than Asians, but in general, it is their height is more and their weight and their muscle mass is also more. Then motivation. Encouragement and motivation stimulate the reward system in the brain and increase the performance. You can see now in sports, people encourage the players, and there are people who shout out for them. So these things help in a positive way. They affect the reward system of our brain. So if you are pulling this and someone is cheering for you, so in that case your performance will be little bit better. So that is the effect of motivation. Factors that affect fatigue. So when you are doing this exercise, you are pulling it repeatedly. After some time you will feel fatigue. You cannot do it continuously for 1 hour, 2 hours. After some time you will feel fatigue. So what are the factors that will affect the fatigue? First is the degree of work and the duration of work. So suppose in this place of 3 kg, we are keeping 10 kg here. Or suppose in normally we are doing it for 15 minutes. Or in that place I told you to do it for 1 hour. So obviously there will be fatigue. So these things will be affecting the fatigue, like how long we are working, or what weight we are using for working. In Mosell's ergography, fatigue is affected by the weight to be lifted. Then when the weight to be lifted increases, fatigue occurs early. The frequency of contractions, like suppose we are contracting it every 5 seconds like this, and we are contracting like 3 contractions in only 1 second, very fast we are doing. So obviously there will be early fatigue. So this is the effect of the contractions. Then motivation, as I already told you, that if someone stands near you and motivates you, it will be little bit effective. It will delay fatigue. Then blood supply to the exercising muscle, venous and arterial occlusion accelerate fatigue. So in the experiment what we will do, suppose someone is pulling this weight, then we will put a cuff, BP cuff. You all know what is BP cuff? Everyone knows what is BP cuff? The blood pressure. With the cuff which we are measuring the blood pressure, we will put it around the arm, and then we will create some force. We will blow it. Then if we are giving 40 mm of pressure in this with this cuff, then there will be venous occlusion. Means the venous blood cannot reach the muscles. Then around 200 mmHg of pressure, in that pressure there will be arterial occlusion. So if there is arterial occlusion, then arterial blood also cannot go to the muscles. So obviously if someone is not getting enough, if the muscles are not getting enough oxygen, enough nutrients, then they will stop functioning. So thus blood supply to the exercising muscles also affects this experiment. Then what are the things which cause the muscle fatigue? So first one, I told you that there is depletion of nutrients like oxygen, creatine phosphate, ATP. So oxygen, you also you know that there is requirement of oxygen for every basic purpose of our life. Every cells there is requirement for oxygen. Similarly for muscle cells also there is requirement of oxygen. So if we block the blood flow, there will be blockage of oxygen, so the muscle work will decrease slowly. Then there is creatine phosphate. It is a molecule which is predominantly present in the muscles. They will be supplying energy by braking to the muscles. Then there is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It will also give nutrients to the muscles. So these things will get depleted because there is reduction of blood flow. So thus the effect, there will be fatigue of the muscles. Then depletion of neurotransmitters is there. So after some time when we are we are doing this experiment, after some time the neurotransmitters will also get depleted after a fixed period of time. So that will also be affecting the fatigue. Then accumulation of metabolites. So you can see that when we are playing or when we are doing something, there will be like when you are playing football or playing cricket or running around, so there will be some muscle cramps in your legs and arms and everything. After sometimes you will find out that there is muscle cramp. Due to cramp, you cannot work out any further, or you cannot run or play any further. So this is due to the accumulation of metabolites. Likely it is due to the accumulation of lactic acid. There is lactic acid build up in our muscles. Then these things affect the performance. Then the principle on which the ergography is based. The subject contracts the flexors of the fingers against resistance. So this is a resistance, this is acting against you. So you are pulling it towards your direction, you are acting opposite to the force. So there is resistance. using Moses ergogram. This one is the Moses ergogram. Till the finger is fatigued. We will keep on working till there is fatigue. There is a point at which we cannot further even slowly, even we cannot even slowly contract our muscles. So that is the ultimate fatigue. So till then we will keep on working. The work done is calculated to study the effect of various factors on the performance. So we are calculating the work done. Firstly, we will calculate that normally how can we, what amount of work we can do. Then by venous occlusion, then by effect of cheering or effect of motivation. These things we will study. That what are the different types of effects they put in the delaying of the fatigue or accelerating the fatigue. So these things we are using to study the effect of various factors. Then what is Moses ergograph? This one is the apparatus of Moses ergograph. It is the apparatus used to record an ergogram. In Moses ergograph, there is an arrangement for fixing the fingers and forearm in the appropriate holders. Someone of you volunteer. Tell him to put his both of his other fingers in this cylindrical shape. Then we will pull it with your finger. Pull it. Now there is a defect with this, but otherwise it will move. The graph will keep on moving. So whenever he is doing any work like this, so whenever he is doing this work, you can see that there is some lines being drawn. There is some lines being drawn. They will form a graph. So eventually what will happen, that after some time he will get tired, he will get fatigued. So you can see that the lines will be, the height of the lines will get shortened time to time. After keep on doing, after a period of time, when he is doing this now, then there will be shortening of the lines. So that is the effect of fatigue in this. Suppose someone is giving him motivation. So in that case, that will be affecting his performance in some way. Then we are occluding his blood pressure, his blood flow. Firstly, we will do venous occlusion. Then we will do arterial occlusion. So these things will be affecting his performance. So this is the whole point of this experiment. Okay, you go. This one is a normal ergogram. This one is normal. In this ergogram, we are not affecting the person who is doing this in any way. We are just letting him to do his work by himself. Then secondly, there is effect of encouragement. So he is doing the same thing and someone standing beside him is encouraging him. Okay, you can do it like this. So you can see that there is effect of encouragement. So this person is doing up to this, then it starts depleting. His fatigue is coming in, he is getting fatigued. Then you can see someone encourages him. So there is the graph is going up. So this means that there is some positive effect of the encouragement. Then thirdly, this is effect of venous occlusion. We already told you that we will put the pressure by this cuff, BP cuff by 40 mmHg. Then we are giving 40 mm of pressure. Then there will be the decrease of work. Here you can see that in the normal case when he is working out, there is the length is more. Here you can see the length is shortened. So this is the effect of venous occlusion. Then at 200 mm of pressure, there will be arterial occlusion, which will produce this type of graph. So you can see that this graph is significantly smaller than this part. So this is the effect of venous and the arterial occlusion. So this one is the whole instrument which you are seeing here. It will be having a pulley. This one is a pulley, and it will be carrying a load of 3 kg. So here it is 1.5 kg, but usually we use 3 kg. It is attached to an end by a sliding plate. The sliding plate is connected through a sling to the finger, the flexors of which are being studied. The metal plates also carry a writing pencil which is writing on a paper. You have seen this. There is a pencil which is writing on this paper. When the middle finger is flexed, the load is lifted, and the distance through which the load is lifted is marked by the writing lever on the paper. So this thing you have seen practically. He has done this. When the paper will be moving, there will be lines drawn in it. So this is the instrument. Now there is an instrument called metronome. This is not present here, but know what is a metronome. it is a device. Like suppose when someone is working out, when someone is pulling this, he will not have any fixed time, na, how fast or how slow he has to do it. We cannot tell him that. Someone, like I have taken 5 people, someone will do it very fast, someone will be very slow. But a metronome is a device which will set a fixed point. Like there will be beep in 2 seconds or 3 seconds, like that. So he will follow that only. Whenever there is a beep, he will pull this. Then there will be a common thing among every one of you. Someone is not working hard or someone is not working out less. So that will give a better understanding of the fatigue. So this is the metronome. Then we will have a sphygmomanometer, a blood pressure machine, you all know. Then at a set of 500 gram weights. All these weights are actually 500 grams. So we will keep 6 weights of this to make 3 kg. This will be multiples of 500 mg, 500 gram. Then the procedure. Firstly, we will give proper information to the subject. We will tell him what we are doing, why we are doing this. Then insert the index in the ring finger of the subject to the fixed tube holders. I have already done this. There is a fixed tube holder, cylindrical, you can see, there is blue color to cylindrical objects. So we will put the ring finger and the index finger in these holes. Then only we will keep the middle finger free. Then connect the sling to the middle finger. We will put the sling here in the middle finger. Ask the subject to lift the load by maximal contraction of the flexors of the middle finger. And repeat lifting the load every 2 seconds along with the metronome oscillations. So there will be the metronome will be set at 2 seconds. So after every 2 seconds there will be a beep. So you will pull the weight as hard as you can. Then again after 2 seconds you will again pull it. So in this way we will see how long you can pull this before you get tired. Then ask the subject to continue lifting the load till the load can no longer be lifted. So you have to do this till there is a point where you cannot do any further. Allow the subject to rest for 15 minutes. After rest, ask the subject to repeat the same procedure till the subject is fatigued. So you will do it till you get tired. Then you will rest for 15 minutes. Then again you will do it till you get tired. When the person can no longer lift the weight, encourage her to study, to continue the effort and record the ergogram. So here we can see that there is effect of encouragement. So we will give him positive motivation and we will tell the person to continue it. Allow the subject to rest for 15 minutes, following which obtain the ergogram after venous occlusion. So after 15 minutes, we will start adding the various factors. We will put venous occlusion. Venous occlusion is obtained by tying the BP cuff. So you have known this, na? We will keep a pressure of 40 mmHg and then we will do the venous occlusion. Again we will rest for 15 minutes and then again we will do by arterial occlusion. Now we are giving a pressure of 200. So firstly the person is doing normally, then venous occlusion, then arterial occlusion. In between there will be 15 minutes gap in each stage. So study the ergogram of each condition and calculate the work done for each. So in each case we will be seeing the work done of the person. So how will we calculate the work done? There is a formula. So this is the calculation. Work done is F into D, where W is the work done in kg meter, F is the load in kg. So F will be 3 kg here. So D is the total distance in meters through which the load is lifted. So we are lifting the load, na? There is some graph. So from that graph we will calculate the total distance in meters, how much the thing has moved, this curve has moved. So there is a formula for this. Measure the total length of the vertical lines. That is addition of all vertical heights. All the vertical heights will be added. So how can we do this? Number of contractions into average height of contractions. So we have to see the height of the contraction and the number, how much we are doing, like 5, 6, 7 or 8, and what is the height of the contraction, this much or this much or this much. So this is the formula. So we can see that this is not even, na? It is not even, it is like this. So there is a triangle, there is a rectangle like this. It is not linear, it is not a specific triangle or a specific rectangle. So we will take the triangular parts, we will take the rectangular parts. We will add this and divide this with the total length of the base. What is the total length of the base? We will divide this, and this is the average height of the contractions in centimeter. So we got the average height. From here we got the average height, it is A, denoted as A. Then we will do F is 3 kg into A. A means this one in centimeters. So this is the work done. This is the formula. You either take a picture or it is available in your book, practical book. So this is the picture I have shown you already. Then what are the precautions we have to take for this experiment? The subject should be instructed properly to give her maximal effort. So that person should not be lacking in the effort. He should be giving his maximum effort. How much he can give, he has to give. The subject should move the finger according to the oscillations of the metronome. So there will be the metronome. It will produce a beep in 2 seconds. So we have to work according to the metronome only. Like every 2 seconds there is a beep. And during the beep only we will move the finger. Then the subject should continue to do the work till he or she is unable to lift the load. So these things are there. To study the effect of encouragement and motivation, the subject should be properly and adequately encouraged to give maximum performance. So if the person is doing this, we should encourage the person properly so that he can give his maximum performance. For obtaining venous occlusion, the BP pressure should be raised to 40 mmHg, and for arterial it should be raised to 200 mmHg. So what is the observation? Study the amplitude of contractions and the time of onset of fatigue. Work done improves with encouragement and decreases with venous and arterial occlusion. So this is obvious. When we are encouraging him or her, the work done will be increased, and when we are putting restrictive limits like venous occlusion, arterial occlusion, then there will be a decrease in the work done. Motivation and encouragement increases the amplitude of the contraction. Arterial occlusion will be more effective than the venous occlusion because artery directly carries oxygen to the muscles. So in that case, because there is more pressure, so arterial occlusions will be more effective in decreasing the work done.